Women hating to see men be happy. They hate to see it. So many women, even if they're married or have a boyfriend, they're like, ugh, I hate when he's happy. Ugh, he's smiling. Ugh, gosh. Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand why a woman would want a man to be unhappy or why she just doesn't feel comfortable when he is happy. It is a sign of insecurity. It is a sign of
All women say they want a good man until they actually meet one, because a good man isn't soft. He is not convenient, and he damn sure is not always available for you. A real good man has discipline, he has boundaries, and he has priorities of his own that do not shift based on her mood. And guess what? He's not bending his values just because she's upset. A good man is not controlling. He creates the order. He doesn't want chaos, arguments, or drama. He wants respect, clarity, and peace. And this is where women get it confused. When she's never met a mature man, she will mislabel everything. She'll call him cold because he doesn't tolerate any nonsense. She'll call him selfish because he takes care of himself. And she'll call him narcissistic because he refuses to beg for approval. But that's not selfishness. That is maturity. A man who refuses to be drained, used, or manipulated. Good men do not move from insecurity. They move from conviction. They will not ever chase drama. They do not chase attention. And they sure as hell don't chase validation from women. They build, they lead, and provide structure. And here's a harsh truth. Most women aren't even ready for the responsibility that comes with being with a good man. Because a good man isn't an emotional roller coaster. He is not unpredictable. And it's not a game. He is stable, extremely consistent, and has direction. And for women addicted to chaos, wounded by the past relationships that they were in, or raised by dysfunction, stability feels boring until she loses it. A good man requires partnership. He requires respect and requires a woman who is emotionally regulated, not reckless with her emotions. That's why so many men get mislabeled. It's why mature men get misunderstood. But stay solid, because good men do not bend, they build, and the right woman will rise to meet with him.
Women are furious because American men are no longer pretending to be miserable without them, and what actually terrifies them isn't men staying single, it's the fact that men are visibly happy doing it, calm doing it, stable doing it, and unbothered doing it, which completely breaks the old narrative that men are supposed to collapse emotionally the moment women withdraw access, attention, and validation.
And unfortunately, I get messages from women saying things like, it's 2026, we don't care about men, we don't care what men want. We hear a lot about toxic masculinity, but what isn't spoken about as much is toxic feminism and the damage that that's done. And this is a prime example of that in action, where we see women living sadly in somewhat of an echo chamber where there's so much resentment towards men. And it's not women's fault, by the way, it's not men's fault. It's society and the way we've been conditioned and how we're now kind of pitted against each other. And the fact that some women are being so triggered and so offended by what I'm saying, which to me isn't very controversial at all, actually. I understand why in this climate in society, why some people might perceive it as controversial, but ultimately I'm just trying to encourage people to have happy, fulfilling relationships with each other and with yourself. I think those people just need to pause and think about why they're being triggered by this. What narrative have women been fed to make them believe that greeting their partners nicely with a hug and a kiss when they're coming from work, for example, is oppression? There just seems to be so much anger towards men, and I get it. There are bad men out there, I know that. But there's a lot of really, really amazing, great men out there too. You don't have to live a life full of resentment and anger towards men and feeling the need to be hyper independent, unhealthily independent, in this constant struggle mode, this survival mode where your nervous system's completely out of whack. Appreciating the man in your life is not a weakness on your part. Hi, I'm Holly. I explore masculine feminine dynamics in a way that you've probably not heard before, so if that's something you might be interested in, give me a follow.
For years the story was that single men are broken, lonely, dysfunctional, emotionally stunted, and secretly suffering, but now that men are openly enjoying quiet homes, low stress, financial control, personal routines, hobbies, peace, freedom, and a life without constant emotional negotiation, the narrative doesn't work anymore and the panic starts showing.
I just saw a guy post a video about 5 reasons why everyone's single right now, and it was just, he hit all the points so perfectly. If I remember his name, I'll like drop his name or tag it in the comments. But there was one point he talked about in particular that I thought was so interesting that not a lot of people talk about why everyone is single. And it's actually something I've seen a lot, especially used kind of as an excuse for men. But I just thought this point was really interesting. Because the obvious reasons are, you know, social media, dating apps, etc., has ruined dating, which we know this. Yes, that's true. But another point he made is that a lot of people, like older generations, when they met when they were like super poor, or like they didn't have to be like in a certain place in life in order to get into a relationship and get married. And now we see a lot of people today who use that as an excuse to not get into a relationship or not want something serious or not want marriage. They say that they need to do X, Y, and Z, or they need to make a certain amount of money in order to be in a relationship or feel comfortable to take something seriously. And I especially see this with men a lot, men that I've talked to, men that my girlfriends have talked to, even guy friends that I've talked to who are almost 30 and still not ready because they're not where they want to be in life, or they're not making a certain amount of money, or don't have that business that they've been wanting to start, which to a certain extent I get. Sometimes you do need to focus on yourself and you really just don't have time to bring another person into your life. But it gets to a certain point where I just feel like it's like, I'm sorry, but you're going to end up being single for the rest of your life. Like, I think that if you want a family, then prioritizing getting into a relationship is something that should be important to you, especially when you're in your late 20s. Because you're going to start running out of options. People are going to start getting into relationships and getting married, and your options become more and more limited the older you get. And one example I can think of is somebody that I know who is in their mid-30s already and is someone who is like posting and like reposting content about like having to like work on yourself, or like kings chase the crown and don't chase the queen, like that type of content. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but and this is a person that has said that like they do want to get married and have a family one day. And I'm like, you're already in your mid-30s and you're like consuming and liking this kind of content of like you still need to keep working on yourself and like achieve all these things, like just obviously like not prioritizing or like wanting to put any sort of effort into starting some sort of serious relationship. Like, I don't know. I really don't understand it, because to me, I think that you can always work on yourself and better yourself even while in a relationship. Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, you're going to change and grow, but you're going to do that with somebody who is there to support you and be in your corner. And I think that whole aspect of a relationship is so cool. And like, I am someone who wants a family and kids. If you don't ever want a family and kids, and obviously it's not something you ever need to prioritize, but I don't know. It's just something I've seen time and time again with like guys, especially that like I've talked to, or just like guy friends of like, they're already in their late 20s or early 30s and they're still not ready to settle down because they're not in the certain place that they want to be in life. And like my parents, for example, they have been happily married for a long time and met when they were both super poor. And my mom just knew that my dad was a really hard worker, had a lot of ambition and drive in life, and wanted to grow with him, and they did together. My mom was able to become a stay-at-home mom because my dad now makes a lot of money, but he wasn't when they first met, and my mom was actually making more money than him when they first met. And yeah, I feel like we've like completely lost that. Like, I don't know, I think it's just really interesting. Like, I think our culture a lot really emphasizes this like self, like you need to like work on yourself and like self-improvement and self-growth. And it's like, yes, to a certain extent you do, and it is important, but it just gets to a certain point where it's like, if you're not going to put any sort of effort into trying to like meet people or get into like a serious relationship, and having a family and kids is something you want, it's like, then like, how are you going to get that? Like, I don't know. Does anybody else like feel this way or have experienced this? But it's really crazy to me, because I'm like, you're already like I'm like, dude, what do you mean you're not ready yet? Like you're you're literally running out of time. Like, and I guess for women too, it's like women who like want kids maybe think about it more than guys who want kids. It's like we do have like a biological clock in a sense. Guys don't really have to worry about that as much. So maybe that's like part of the reason too, but I don't know. I just find it so interesting, and yeah, it's like you can still work on yourself while getting into a relationship. Like, I just don't understand.
Because men didn't isolate themselves out of bitterness, they optimized their lives out of logic, looking at modern dating culture, the legal risks, the emotional labor expectations, the instability, the transactional nature of relationships, and the constant pressure to perform masculinity without being respected for it, and simply deciding that solitude was a better deal than chaos.
A world where more and more men are single because women do not want to date them is a world that's very dangerous for women, which is why I worry about retaliation in reaction to the rise of single men. We actually have data from this year that shows young women are way less interested in dating than young men are. And we have data to show that more women than men are single because they simply cannot find someone they are interested in dating. 38% of single American women say the main reason they're not dating is they can't find someone that meets their expectations, compared to only 23% of men say the same thing. College-educated women are the group most likely to say they are single because they can't find someone that meets their expectation, 45%. And I can hear the men in my comments now saying, see, it's women's fault. They have too high of expectation and that's why everyone is single and lonely. But let me remind you that women have always entered into marriages with the expectation that it is going to materially improve their lives. We needed husbands for financial security. We needed them for bank accounts, for credit cards, to have a house to live in. And now women are doing better than men. We are more educated. We are stable on our own. And women who are independent and self-sustaining do not need to get married. When you don't financially need a husband or a partner, you can say, I'm not going to get a partner until I find one that's emotionally supportive, emotionally intelligent, doesn't need me to be his therapist and his mom, doesn't need me to do all the childcare, all the housework. And men will tell you, they do in my comments every single day, that these expectations are just simply too much. I fear for escalating retaliation that this will cause interpersonally between men and women, and also in legislative and policy decisions, like the push to get rid of no-fault divorce, in the rolling back of reproductive rights, and with things like student debt and college affordability. They're not going to make college more affordable when more women going to college results in higher expectations of the men that want to date us. So yeah, that's why I worry about retaliation of men who cannot make it worth it for women to want to date and marry them.
What's actually terrifying isn't that men don't want relationships. It's that men don't need them anymore to feel complete, regulated, or fulfilled, which removes leverage, control, and emotional dependency from the dynamic entirely and leaves nothing to manipulate.
I have been wanting to share something that has felt edgy and vulnerable, and something that I really want the men to hear. Women are tired. The feminine is tired, and I have been feeling it. I have been seeing it. I have been witnessing it and having conversations with women who are really struggling right now. From single mothers, too many single mothers I know that don't have the fathers present in relationship to the children, or even financial support. And this is coming from a woman that was raised by a single mother and an immigrant that had 2 children. My mother had 2 children at the age of 19. So it's hard to witness. And then single women that don't feel like there are enough good men out there to rely on and to lean into during these times. And why I wanted to share this is because it is like this secret conversation that's being had amongst other women. And then there's a fear of vulnerability, of exposing that and sharing that women are leaning on women because there are not enough reliable men to lean on. This is really, really, really hard to share. How tired the feminine is. And the world is changing so fast and so quickly, and it's scary. And there are a lot of us that feel like we're holding so much for our communities and for ourselves that it's hard to kind of put it down and to rest. whether it's for their holding space, other women are holding space for their children, for their communities, for their families, for each other. And it's really hard to feel like there are solid men within our communities that can hold us so that we can rest for a moment. And I wanted to share this because it's not really talked about. It's not really talked about. And I think it's really important for men to hear, for whatever it's worth, whether it's to just check in on the women in your communities, whether they're single mothers, whether they're just sisters out in the world doing their thing, to just check in on the women in your life, ask how they're doing during these times, even at a minimum, for what it's worth.
They were told men would beg, chase, spiral, compete harder, and become desperate, but instead men built structure, routine, discipline, financial security, emotional stability, and internal peace, and now bachelorhood doesn't look like failure, it looks like freedom with order.
What's that thing my family used to say when I was growing up? I think it was something like, always have a warm meal on the table when your husband gets home from work. You better give him what he wants, because if he's not getting it at home, then he'll just get it from someone else. Don't nag, don't let the children get too loud, and always respect the man of the house. Listen, boys are given trucks and soccer balls, but girls are given baby dolls and toy kitchens. And boys are given soccer balls so that they can dream of becoming professional athletes, but girls are given baby dolls so they can practice being a man's wife and being the mother to a man's child. We're told to play pretend wedding, and we watch movie after movie about being rescued by the prince because we're literally conditioned from birth to believe that our happiness is dependent on being desirable enough for a man to pick us. Don't be cold, don't be clingy. Let him know you have a job, but don't talk about it too much because he may feel intimidated. You're reading articles titled 5 ways to make him like you and 10 ways to know if he's serious about you. Your mother keeps asking why you're not dating more, your grandmother keeps asking you why you're not pregnant, and your aunt keeps telling you that you never should have broken up with that guy Todd, even if he did have a weird obsession with his sister. We're taught by men how to treat men, and we're taught by women how to treat men. And we're not only taught how to treat you, we're also told how to protect ourselves from you. We're told not to wear clothes that are too revealing. We're told not to wear headphones when we run. We should never walk alone at night. We should always meet for the first time in a public place, and we should always cover our drink when we're in a bar. Don't be aggressive because you may cause him to become agitated, but don't smile too much because you may give him the wrong impression. And you have the audacity to talk about how women aren't taught how to treat men? How? It's all about men. From cradle to grave, it's all about being agreeable, attractive, and small. We're told boys will be boys and girls mature faster than boys when we're younger, and then we're told to pick our battles, no marriage is perfect, and never emasculate a man when we're older. Somehow we're supposed to cook, clean, parent, work, smell good, always be in the mood, look good, but not good enough to make him jealous, and remember his mother's birthday. So we're not just taught how to treat men, we're taught how to exist solely for their use. And then you want to say that men were taught how to treat women right their entire lives? Because that's literally impossible. Because if men were taught how to treat women right, then women wouldn't have to adapt to men's emotions in order to avoid dangerous situations with them. And I assume he's talking about something like how men are taught to open doors for women, but do you know how many men open doors for women in public but beat their wives in private? Because learning how to be perceived by society as a gentleman is in no way the same as learning how to treat a woman right. And what exactly were you taught about treating women right? Because maybe you were taught how to treat us like objects and property, but I don't see a whole lot of evidence about how you were taught to treat us properly. You don't even know how to accept the word no when a woman rejects your advances, so I don't know how you could make this statement with a straight face. So women aren't just taught how to please men, they're expected to. And if you honestly don't know that, then it's either because you refuse to see it, or it's because a woman's never trusted you enough to tell you her truth.
The anger isn't about men being single, it's about men being content, because a peaceful man is uncontrollable, a stable man is not desperate, and a fulfilled man is not easily influenced, pressured, or emotionally leveraged.
Man, folks really out here getting mad because men is deciding to be single more than ever than to be in relationships. Do y'all not understand? We do not want no masculine ass woman in 2026. We tired of drinking Don Julio and eating seafood boils. Man, whatever happened to the girls? Where they at? Because these backwoods smoking hoes, we tired of that, man. Men ain't trying to wipe up no baby D, man. I need me a knee alone, dog.
Men didn't walk away in protest, they walked away in calculation, and now the culture that expected men to suffer is watching men relax, thrive, and enjoy life without needing validation, approval, or romantic access to function.
The majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
To say that straight men are heterosexual is only to say that they engage in sex, fucking exclusively with the other sex, i.e., women. All or almost all of that which pertains to love, most straight men reserve exclusively for other men. The people whom they admire, respect, adore, revere, honour, whom they imitate, idolise and form profound attachments to, whom they are willing to teach, and from whom they are willing to learn, and whose respect, admiration, recognition, honour, reverence and love they desire, those are overwhelmingly other men. In their relations with women, what passes for respect is kindness, generosity, or paternalism. What passes for honour is removal to the pedestal. From women, they want devotion, service, and sex. Heterosexual male culture is homoerotic. It is man-loving. That was by Marilyn Frey in The Politics of Reality, publishing date 1983.
They're not angry because men are bachelors. They're angry because men are happy being bachelors. And happiness without dependence is the one thing the system never prepared for.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.